Pelican Sports post-game show. Coach O is 1-0. 42-7 LSU over Missouri. Good evening and welcome to Pelican Sports TV, WUBR CBS Sports Radio. I'm Tommy Chrysan, joined by Buddy Sanji. Buddy, 42-7. LSU takes care of Missouri. Lots of good things in the game. Over 600 yards of offense. Two guys with well over 100 yards rushing. And a lot of guys got on the field, including Brandon Harris at the end of the game. Buddy, your thoughts? 42-7, LSU beats Missouri.
Tell you what, TK, one team, one heartbeat. Coach O said all the right things all weekend long. Couple things that stood out in that initial press conference. Going to get them off the practice field and more in the meeting room. They look fresher. Who would have thought that they would do what he said they would do, pass to set up the run, totally dominant with their defense. I thought that was by far their best defensive game of the year. And after you got the Missouri deep front a little tired, ran it down their throat. Darius Geis, really special player. Darrell Williams, went crazy. For the first 4 games, Darrell Williams not playing 2 of those games. Didn't understand that. Once again, some injuries in the O-line, mixed and matched, played a few more people. Still got some hiccups in special teams. We'll talk about that. But, TK, I don't think anybody could have imagined a better opening start for Ed Orgeron with the 42-7.
Another thing that Coach Orgeron said earlier in the week, he was going to throw the ball to set up the run. I mean, they followed his script on that. He flipped the script, as they say, and as he said, more importantly. And it was a good debut for Ed Orgeron. The team looked inspired to me. They played hard. They were scrapping. What I liked when Etling went way out of bounds in front of the Missouri bench, all the linemen were over there, making sure everything was fine on that play, but making sure. But I do want to say this, and I don't want you to call me the doomsayer here. Missouri's not real good. Okay, Missouri's going to struggle to win a game or 2 in the Eastern Division. But aside from that, LSU gets the win in Coach O's debut. He becomes the 5th straight Tiger coach to win his debut. Hal Hunter. Then 4th straight, I'm sorry. Hal Hunter, Nick Saban, Les Miles, and now Ed Orgeron wins his debut. 4th straight, I apologize, a little mistake there. Bottom line, a lot of people still left the stadium. I was a little surprised by that, but then when you look at the score, 42-7, they were up 35-0 at one point. Missouri finally did find pay dirt. It was overall a good performance and something this team can build on, and hopefully it can propel into some good things. Next week's opponent, Florida, looked a little sluggish against Vanderbilt today. They won like 13-6. Vanderbilt tends to play them tough every now and then. But all in all, a good night for LSU football and a great night for Ed Orgeron.
My phone was blowing up simply because as you were watching LSU play, you saw that they were well coached and well prepared. But, TK, it was fun again to watch LSU football. We've been talking about just how tough it has been from an entertainment standpoint. And we want to remind everybody, look, it's easy to call, and you see the number on the screen, 928-4910 if you're out of the area code, 225 area code. But we hope to get a lot of positive calls tonight and calls that were griping and complaining. The last time we were here on a Saturday night after last week's game, none of us knew that it would happen boom, boom, boom the way it did. But I know the Joe and King Alexander and the Board of Supervisors have got to be ecstatic because TK making that move when they did showed the LSU fan base they cared about the rest of the season. Now you go week to week. Look, they beat a mediocre Florida team and Southern Miss here. That place is rocking, and nobody's leaving early when you play Ole Miss in 3 weeks.
Buddy, question on the text message line where you see the numbers. Text message is area code 504-689-9246. Phone number, as Buddy said, 225-928-4910. Question from the text message. We'll do that first, then we'll get to the callers. What was the most impressive thing about tonight's win? My answer to that is they were inspired. They played hard football. They played for 60 minutes, something Coach Orgeron wanted to do. And in the early call, they bought in to Ed Orgeron. That's the most impressive thing to me about tonight's win. Your thought on that, buddy?
They looked like a well-coached team tonight. They looked like they knew what was going on. They looked like they were prepared. They played with passion. They played a little smarter. There are plenty of things still to clean up. But, TK, it was more enjoyable because they didn't look like the Bad News Bears. I mean, once again, broke the streak in the fourth quarter of not scoring. A lot of good things to talk about.
All right, we want to get to the phone calls. That's one of the things about the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show, the phone calls and the text messages right after. We go to Frank in Baton Rouge. Frank, good evening. You're on the Post-Game Show.
How y'all tonight, TK and Buddy?
Frank, what a difference a week makes, huh?
I tell you what, West who, huh?
Well, look, we want to make sure, too, tonight, and let's show a little class. Les had some class on the interview with ESPN today, and he's still pulling for the Tigers. So, you know, let's not make this about him. Let's just make this about what Coach O and the guys did. But, Frank, it was so enjoyable to see them start the right way and play under control. I thought this is what the Dave Aranda defense, TK and Frank, was going to look like early on. But it took them five games to get all of the nuances in. Hey, guys, I thought they looked pretty good there. And who would have thunk it? 600-plus yards, 400-plus running.
Yeah. Well, I think the fresh legs had a lot to do with it.
There's no doubt, Frank. There's no doubt about that.
And I also say, boys giving Orgeron a grade, I'm going to give him a solid B because on that fourth down, they were on the 25. He should have kicked the field goal. That was a bad call. I don't care what anybody says. It was a bad call.
Well, I think one of the problems you got, and we've been talking about this, Kobe has not been real consistent. I'm watching his PATs, and usually, TK, you hit it right in the middle and you hook it a little bit. He's hitting balls, barely going to the right. Then on the field goal that he tried later, he hooked it a little bit. I had somebody from the stadium telling me halftime warm-up he wasn't kicking. That's going to be an area they've got to address, TK.
Yeah, special teams need to be addressed. Opening kickoff went out of bounds. That wasn't good. What else you got, Frank?
I'm saying it's the first time since 2011 that I really wasn't disgusted. I really enjoyed it tonight, and I'm going to get off the phone.
Hey, Frank, you enjoyed this win, buddy. I'm glad. You deserved it, you hear?
All right, Frank is done. Let's go to Jacob in Lafayette. Jacob, you're on the post-game show.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good to talk with you, Jacob.
Man, look, just a couple quick points. What I was really impressed about was we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot during offense. Offensive penalties were really at a minimum, not as many false starts, not as many holdings, and it really allowed us to drive the ball down the field, you know, without having to punt the ball too many times from those penalties.
Jacob, that's what I meant by TK talking about better coached and better prepared. And Coach Orgeron said it at the first press conference. He said it all week long. Get off the legs and get off the field. More time studying. And I think you could tell they were more prepared and they were more confident with their assignments, Jacob.
100%. And also, I tell you what, our defensive coordinator, Dave, I mean, he really came up huge in this game, and it really shows what a great hire he was. I mean, I think we've given up 2 touchdowns all year long. I mean, or 3 counting the one tonight, but I mean, he just did an outstanding job.
You know, Jacob, I'm glad you bring that up because I think that the job by Aranda now through 5 games has kind of flown under the radar a little bit with all the other stuff getting all the prime talk and the headlines, and the first 3-4 topics have always been something else. But and it'll be interesting. They beefed up the defensive numbers tonight. We'll see how they fall in the SEC rankings and the NCAA rankings. So again, I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob, because it has been a very good job by the defense, and one would think it'll only get better as Coach Aranda gets more comfortable with them. They get more comfortable with him.
And guys, let's not forget Pete now. Pete Jenkins comes in here, and I know he can't do much in 4 or 5 days, but his experience and all the nuances. You played ball, you know when a guy messes with your grip, your release point, all those little things that great coaches do. I guarantee you the guys on the defensive front are going to talk about Pete Jenkins tonight and the rest of the week.
Well, when Pete Jenkins walking in, that's like Jack Nicklaus walking in the Ryder Cup locker room.
Sure.
Okay, they know he's one of the most renowned defensive line coaches in the country. He's worked at numerous colleges. He's worked in the NFL. He's had NFL teams say, come here. We need you now, okay? And he's got the respect of people. So, you know, I don't know what he could do in 4 or 5 days other than walk in the room, which is a good thing. When you're Pete Jenkins, you're walking into a defensive line room. And then he's always had a passion for LSU, although he's coached many other places, including in the NFL. So, buddy, that's a good point. I think Pete's going to put a little fire in there.
Oh, yeah, one more thing for you guys. I'll tell you what, if Etling can start hitting some of those deep balls, we can be dangerous. I mean, because he managed the game well. Yeah, he throws the ball really well short.
Tough guy.
And if we would connect on a couple of those long balls, we're talking 700-800 yards of offense.
Well,
all right, Jacob.
Okay, Jacob.
Appreciate that.
700-800 yards. The one thing that the commentators and Jesse Palmer, being a former quarterback at Florida, made mention 3 or 4 times. You got to be a little smarter getting out of bounds and avoiding those hits.
Slide a little bit.
Because you don't want to lose him. Now you're getting a little continuity. You don't want to lose him to a helmet in the knee.
Let's go to Ronnie in Port Allen. Ronnie, you're on the postgame show.
Hello.
Hey, Ronnie.
TK and Buddy.
Yeah, Ronnie, go ahead.
I listen to your radio show often, and I was listening to you Friday when Brian Lazard called in, and you were discussing with Brian Lazard what we was going to look like tonight. And you predicted it dead on, but boy, he owes you an apology. From what I heard Friday, he really wasn't buying it at all. And I just want to congratulate you, and I'm really enjoying the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ryan. Buddy, a question, then we got to get to a break, then we'll get to the guys holding on. This is getting a little bit of help. Defense rocked. All the first downs by the offense kept the defense off the field. That's a couple of text messages. We got to answer this question before we go to break. What will the point spread be, Tigers at Florida next week? I think LSU's a 3 or 4 point favorite.
Oh, I don't know right now. I haven't processed the point spread.
All right, I'll ask you again later. We got to get to a break. All right, keep the calls and the text messages rolling in. We appreciate it. You're on WUBR on the smartphones and the computers. WUBR at CBS Sports Radio, 9:10 a.m. Just search WUBR. And, of course, Pelican Sports TV. Now, don't forget, this TV program repeats Sunday morning at 9 a.m., Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m., and we'll have it up on YouTube at some point tomorrow during the middle of the day. We'll post it on the Pelican Broadcasting Facebook page as soon as it's available on YouTube, and you can watch at your convenience. Keep the phone calls coming. Keep the text messages in. LSU under Coach O is 1-0, 42-7 over Missouri. We're back after this pause. Stay with us.
Coach O, baby.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including OptiMap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Christ with you. Keep the phone calls and the text messages rolling in. We'll answer a text message, and then we'll get to 2 phone calls. Steve Ensminger was exceptional at his play calling. He kept Missouri's defense off balance. I would agree with that. I thought Steve called a very good game. I think that the text message is correct. He kept the defense off balance. They tried to stack some people in there. He'd get them out of there with the different calls, and then call Coach O the prophet. He said, we're going to throw the ball to set up the run. And that's what they did, and they rushed for over 400 yards. Again, Missouri's not real good, okay? They're not going to be in a bowl game or anything like that this year, I don't believe. Or if they do, it'll be a 6-6 thing. But we'll see. Let's go to Barry and Gonzales. Barry, you're on the postgame show.
Yeah, this is Bill. I've been calling a couple of weeks and, making all my complaints like everybody else, and it's like, I'm just calling now to say I caught the end of y'all's show on Wednesday night, and I'm here to agree with both of you. And, somewhere I think the bishop was in the background this week with the holy water. We had an exorcism of the past 5 or 6 years, and we resurrected a little bit of Coach Mack tonight, and I just hope it keeps going. I think the Tigers look good on every aspect. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but I have not seen them guys fly around like that in years. It was wonderful. I even commented to my wife. And I tell you what, I didn't know what to think about Orgeron at first, because I remember when he was at Ole Miss about 10 years or so ago, remember, he brought his team in here and LSU won an overtime game. And he did the switch of the quarterbacks at halftime and then for the OT. And LSU came back and won. So I just remembered all that about him, but I knew he had to be a decent coach because he went from Ole Miss. I think he came from USC to Ole Miss, and then he went to the pros, and then he was at other colleges and whatever. I remember he was with the Saints, and then he wound up with LSU. But even my wife, who's not a big football fan, and that's just because she grew up in New Orleans, she knows the difference between the teams, so that's good. She knows purple and gold LSU, black and gold the Saints, all right? She even liked his speech Monday. And I said, if he can inspire these guys to come out and play, it's like, we've been talking the past couple of weeks. Everybody else around town says it. We know we got the talent. These boys can play. And all I want to say is, just keep going, Coach O. And it's like, I got faith in the man and I hope LSU takes a good look at him, because as long as he inspires the boys and they keep coming around. Oh, by the way, my name is Bill, not Barry. It just sounds weird over the phone, I guess. But anyways,
all right.
I'm glad to say that no complaints tonight, except because Missouri has one hell of a good offense. We know that.
Yeah, they do.
They can put up points on anybody. And, granted, their defense ain't the best, but, hey, guys, I got one question for y'all, and then I'm going to move out here and listen to y'all. Where did Coach O actually play for LSU or not? Because I think that was mentioned during the week that he was a commitment to LSU.
Bill, he signed at LSU. He came, he was here for about 2 weeks. He didn't even make media day, and he went back home, and he ended up playing for 4 years at Northwestern State up in Natchitoches.
With Bobby Hebert.
With Bobby Hebert, who's a distant cousin of his. But he was on the LSU campus for about 2 weeks. He came in the same year that quarterback Alan Risher came in, and, of course, other guys, and I think Eric Martin was in that class, too. No, not Eric wasn't, but he came in at that same time whenever Risher came in, which would have been in the 79 signing class.
Yeah, I remember most of the guys at that time. I graduated December 80, and then I went on active duty through 88. So, I remember some of the names of the teams, but not everybody. So, thanks, and
all right, Bill.
All right, Bill, appreciate it very much.
call.
Thank you, Bill from Gonzales. Buddy, you made the point when I heard you earlier in the week on the radio when Coach Orgeron said, "Hey, we're shortening up some practice time a little bit more in the meeting rooms and coaches' meetings." And I made a comment. They look inspired. I sent you a text about it. They had a little more energy. There was a little more gas in the tank, if you will. And I think there is something to do with that. These guys are 99% of them are extremely well-conditioned athletes, and if they have a little more gas in the tank at the start of the game, it means they're going to have more gas during the game. So there we go. Let's go to Roger in Baker. Roger, you're on the post-game show.
Okay. Hey, buddy, how y'all doing?
Roger, in a long time no hear.
Look, I've just been kind of busy. I'm going to say this here. The jury's still out on LSU, and I really believe that this boy, Edlin, have to hit the long pass to complete the pass. They did a lot of ball control with Bud the clock up. The reason why the defense was looking so bad, y'all, because they took so many slaps.
I know.
They took too many slaps, brother.
Yep.
And the thing about defense stayed on the field the whole year. But look, the jury's still out. I don't know if I don't know if this boy could beat Nick Saban. I tell you what, if he beat Nick Saban, we need to give him the job, buddy. Y'all need to sign up too. But I want to say this to y'all, buddy. LSU. I don't know what they're going to do, but guess what? I'm so glad Les Miles got 5. But guess what? He didn't lose the battle. He won the war because he left there with $12 million. And I'm going to say this here, too. The Tigers, I'm going to say this here to Edlin. Edlin, you're going to have to be a disciplined quarterback. You got to use your brain. And guess what? Don't forget to slide, boy, before you get hurt. I really believe that they have to use the other quarterback also where they can keep everything going. Because I found out one thing. If Edlin go down, I still think this boy behind Edlin can do the job.
Okay.
Go Tigers. Defense, let me tell you something, Alden Key. You're a bad boy, man. You're a first-round draft choice coming up. And see that boy, that linebacker they got? That boy tough. But guess what? We need some damn leaders on that defense. And I'm going to say this here. If the offense roll, the defense going to roll, and we going to win a national championship. Buddy, God bless y'all, man.
All right.
Everything.
Roger got wound. He got
Roger got wound up. Right? He was going.
A lot of good points, Roger. I think that certainly we all need to be cognizant that it is one game. And you're talking about a bottom feeder in the East, more than likely.
The comment, give Coach O the job's not necessary right now.
No.
He's got an 8-week audition, and 1 week he gets an A+ because he won the game in dominant fashion, regardless of how good Missouri might be. A couple of quick text messages before we go to break. Coach O made Pete Carroll proud tonight. Pete Carroll, somebody that Coach looks up to a whole lot and learned a lot from, along with Jimmy Johnson. Love seeing the ball run from a 3 wide receiver set. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we already had that one on Ensminger. LSU will be a 6 to 8 point dog against Florida. I don't know about that.
I've come up with my number now. I think it's going to be 2 or 3.
Tigers favored?
Florida will be favored by 2 or 3. And it may go to Pickett by game time.
You heard it from the man, Buddy Sanji, Tommy Christ saying phone number 225-928-4910 or send us a text message at 504-689-9246, LSU 42, Missouri 7. Next week, Florida at 11 a.m. It's on ESPN. Post-game show come to you about 2:30. That's Saturday afternoon. We'll be back with more. WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. Search WUBR on the computers and the TuneIn app. And, of course, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, all over the world on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology and our highly trained staff, have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-552-8621. 800-552-8621.
Continue with the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. TV repeating tomorrow morning at 9, tomorrow morning at 10:30, back-to-back in the morning. And that's each and every week in case you ever miss it. Next week you may miss it. We're on at 2:30. You might be watching something else. You'll be able to check it out the next morning. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Mark in Baton Rouge. Mark, you're on the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show.
Hey, so let me ask you guys a question. I listened to the Wednesday broadcast from the practice over Tigers football this week on 98.1, and I heard that they were using the same playbook. And in fact, that sportscaster had said to not expect too much of a difference in the performance of the Tigers, that it was going to be very incremental, if anything. So my question to you guys is, what was the big difference tonight? I mean,
the difference was
still the Les Miles playbook. There was nothing different about it, according to that sportscaster.
The difference was they used the pass to set up the run, not the run to set up the pass. You did have some 4 wide receiver sets, including early in the game. I don't know that we ever saw 4 receivers when Coach Miles was coaching. If we did, it didn't happen often. I obviously don't remember every single play. But I think, for lack of a better word, Mark, the approach was different. I think if the players went out on the field, they hear the plays called, they were a little fired up because they knew it was a different approach. It was a different plan of how to attack Missouri. Missouri was stacking people in the box. Well, when they started throwing it on first down, second down, Missouri had to respect that, and then that opened up the running game. It almost went exactly as Coach Orgeron planned. So, no, they didn't throw the playbook away and go buy a new one. I mean, you know, a lot of that was already in there. The question is, how much did it get practiced this week versus previous weeks? I'm going to guess they practiced it a whole lot more. Now, there were some mistakes. Once or twice the receiver went somewhere that Etlin didn't realize he was going that way. There were some balls kind of thrown into no man's land. But all of that's going to get worked on and worked on and worked on. Hey, as the case every week, Mark, them coaches are going to grade that tape, and they're going to sit down and show those players that, and then hopefully they can make improvements. I certainly think Florida's a whole lot better than Missouri, so it's a tougher task next week, buddy.
Mark, I agree with you. I got the phone call on Thursday, and there were quite a bit of the talking heads talking about that you can't change anything in a week, and it's going to be the same playbook. They're going to tweak it. But Coach Orgeron was very forthright and upfront about what he liked to do when people asked him questions. And he got the question about his offensive philosophy, and he said he likes to throw to set up the run. LSU had a lot of bad field position early on. They threw the ball early to get them out of the box. We know that they didn't hit up on any of the long passes except that jump ball, which was both of them caught it and goes to the receiver. But
and by the way, that play is not reviewable.
No.
In case you were wondering maybe why Missouri didn't review it, that's not on the list to be reviewed.
But that to me, Mark, was totally different from Les Miles' offense, where every time Dick and Harry, Sally and Julie could call the play just by formation down and distance. So I think there was some element of surprise. I think the guys enjoyed it. You didn't have so many tight ends in the game. You threw the ball early. You got rid of the ball quickly. A lot of the things that we talked about. But look, they will continue to tweak it and get better. The plays that they executed, well, I love this wide receiver reverse jet sweep with Sharp. I mean, he's
that guy
fast.
can run.
That guy can run.
We've known he can run. Now we're seeing him run.
I think, Mark, you're not going to be able to recognize this offense in a couple more weeks as they have more time to tweak and find out what they do best. But look, Ed Orgeron basically turned over a new leaf with LSU football. He got the former players involved. He got them off their feet. He got everybody. He said all the right things. And TK and Mark, what he did is he got back LSU galvanized as one whole instead of all this division that we've had for the last 3 years.
Last question I have, and I'll hang up on this, is the time management. That was spoken of in the midweek conference that I heard on the 98.1 show about how time management was going to be changed and also their practice schedule. If you guys could address that, that's all I have. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Well, definitely less time on the field, more time in the meeting room. You only get, 20 hours a week to practice, and that usually probably turns into 21 or 22 across the country.
Well, that includes the game now, too.
Yeah, and so I think that they just put a different emphasis on different things. That was part of the change. That was a part of the new regime, part of the new era, part of, hey, it's different now. And I think it's a plus that Coach Orgeron had done this before at Southern Cal when he took over for Lane Kiffin, and he got in there and he knew how to change a mindset because he had success there with it. So we'll see. Here's a text message. I love the performance tonight, but Missouri is bad. Hard to judge LSU on this. I'll agree with that one. Florida, a much bigger test next week. Buddy, I was thinking when you were talking to Mark, when's the last time, and I got a media guides in the other room, but when's the last time, in your memory, you and I are pretty good at this, that LSU pounded an SEC opponent where we knew who was going to win the game when the fourth quarter started?
Probably Auburn last year when Fournette went off at 45-21. That's the last convincing big
and
win.
Auburn was bad last year, too.
Well,
maybe a little better than what Missouri is. Again, Missouri, of course, if you look at their schedule, they haven't done a whole lot. They hung in there with Georgia, but Georgia's maybe not as good as some people thought. We have a better snapshot now that we're 5 weeks in. Let's see. What text message question? What are LSU's chances of beating Florida? I think you like them because tonight builds confidence. If nothing else, these guys are feeling good about themselves. They worked hard. They got ready for an SEC opponent. It was homecoming. They got the win. And now they know Florida's going to be tough. They know it's 11 o'clock in the morning. They're going to change the body clock all week. And I think they have a chance to beat Florida. Florida struggled with Vanderbilt today. Florida has not been maybe as good as we thought they were in August. Of course, Luke Del Rio, their starting quarterback, still don't know if he'll play against LSU. If he does, he's going to be a little rusty because he hadn't been able to work out.
Really ironic that it could be the game where two Purdue quarterbacks that played together and were backups. At one point, of course, Etling had the job. Appleby was a backup. Etling lost it. Appleby came in. That would be something for Purdue to have two SEC teams.
And Purdue got hammered today by somebody. Yeah. They're bad.
But back to how doable is that Florida game. I certainly think the way they played with this defense, Florida is struggling on offense, as you alluded to with quarterback. The swamp is always tough. 11 o'clock, you got to change the body clock. You got to eat earlier. You got to get them acclimated.
And they'll start that tomorrow.
A lot of those guys like the nighttime games. 5 last week, 6:30 this week. A lot of the big games, Alabama, 7 o'clock. They like to sleep in and all that. So you do have to change the the body and get ready for that. Anytime you go on the road in the SEC, you know it's tougher. Crowd is a factor. But right now, TK, I'd say that LSU has a great chance if they protect the football and play with common sense and smart. I think they got a great chance. They got to fix those kickers. Cameron Gamble still kicked one out of bounds to start the game. Pretty inauspicious start for Coach O.
I was like, come on, I couldn't believe
Third
it.
one
And that was like not even close. It came off his foot, and the cheerleaders were running because they were about to get hit in the head.
And then, of course, like we said, Kobe, you hope that he gets a little bit more confidence with the field goals. But all in all, I thought for the most part, solid B+ across the board. And, boy, if we would have said during the week LSU was going to put up 600+ and 400+ running, I don't think anybody would have believed us.
Yeah, I'm certainly those numbers are a little bigger than anybody thought. We're going to take a break, come back, keep them phone calls rolling in. The phone number is 225-928-4910. Text message line, area code 504-689-9246. Hey, we're kicking up the YouTube page a little bit. We got the Facebook, we got the Twitter, we got the TuneIn app. Start paying attention to youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You'll find a post game, you'll find Tigers Roar, you'll find sports shorts, and who knows what else you might find there. Subscribe to it or check it out, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We'll come back with Paul in Shreveport. You'll be up when we return. LSU 42, Missouri 7. Final score from Tiger Stadium. Stay with us.
Don't let bugs bug you anymore. Call the Bug Man today.
And for termite protection, go green with Centricot. If it's good enough for Lady Liberty and the White House, then it's good enough for you. Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
Call 923-BUGS today.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show. LSU 1-0 under Coach O, 42-7 to win. Phone number 225-928-4910. Text message line 504-689-9246. Paul, Shreveport. Good evening. You're on the post-game show.
Man, what a night, huh?
Hey, Paul, how's the weekend treating you?
Excellent night. That was the first complete game I think LSU's played. I wouldn't even count the Auburn game because the second half of that game, Auburn was scoring quite a few points on us. But goodness gracious, great game. Offense, defense, special teams. The atmosphere on the campus and the stadium, it was great. What about your guys' opinion? What do y'all think about it?
You and I were texting before. Certainly, I did get an update from some guys that said a lot of tickets to be sold. But you got to understand now, when you have 102,000, you're gonna have tickets. But TK, you and I both got the same calls and messages.
Well,
that the stadium and tailgating were fun once again, Paul, and it was all because of the anticipation, the doubt, the interest, the passion, all the things that built up. I don't know anybody that predicted it to be 42-7. Look, there's still some things that you got to clean up. It's not a finished product, Paul. But for a guy who took over last Sunday at some point to put that product out 6 days later, 6 nights later, mighty impressive.
Hey, Paul, I got a friend. She tends bar at one of the private parties on campus and has done it for many years, and we always swap texts during the day on game day, and she knows the difference between a big crowd, a medium crowd, and a small crowd. And she texted me today before I texted her. She said, "Hey, TK, it's really busy out here, much more than most this year by far." Now, the weather was nice. Weather was an issue a couple of other games.
Sure.
It was a beautiful day in South Louisiana, so that certainly contributed to it. It was homecoming. That brings a few more people back to campus, I believe. But all in all, Paul, it was a good day for LSU football. Coach O opened his presser on Monday saying that was a good day for LSU football. So was today. Now we'll see what can happen going forward. Most importantly, the most important next step is in Gainesville next Saturday.
Have y'all heard about? I was trying to catch some of that game. Florida's defense took a pounding. It looked like a mass unit out there. They had players coming off the field. Have y'all heard anything about injuries or anything on their defense?
I have not seen a Florida injury report. I know they were, one of the articles I read about the game said they were very sluggish in getting by Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Paul, it's too early to know about the injuries. A lot of times you get dinged and nicked, and you know they gotta have an update. Usually they'll go in for training stuff tomorrow, but we'll get a better feel for it as we talk about it. You know, we said 2 or 3 points, maybe Florida being favored. It could be Pickett, it could be LSU a point favorite or whatever. But you got to respect the Gators. They're playing in the swamp. We know that McElwain and the Gators feel like they owe LSU after LSU put 28 on them in the second quarter last year and kind of sat on it.
Right.
Sure.
By the way, I'm going to give Les Miles credit for one little tidbit we hadn't mentioned yet. Trent Domang, everybody kind of freaked out when he left and went to kick with Texas. He had 3 PATs blocked today against Okie State. So Kobe is not kicking as well as he did when he first came out. Paul, I think you got to get Kobe confident. And no disrespect to Cameron Gamble, but this is 3 kickoffs in 5 games that have gone out of bounds. He did kick a couple that were not
into
returnable,
the end zone, and the next one came up a
it
little
wouldn't
short.
shock me to see Connor Culp get more and more look-see.
I think he'll get more looks this week at practice, and then we'll see who kicks off down in Gainesville.
But overall, Paul, the only other question we have, why did people start leaving in the third quarter? Is it just tough to keep them when the game gets out of hand, or what?
You know, a lot of the students left for homecoming. I was talking to a lot of different people. They had homecoming coming up afterwards events. But, man, I'm just excited. I was miserable this time last week. And, man, this is a total different chapter in LSU. So I'm happy. Y'all guys got a great show. Enjoy it. And we'll do it again, huh?
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Good
Appreciate Paul from Shreveport.
Good seeing you yesterday.
Text message, Buddy. It says, you and Buddy have been critical of the offensive and defensive line play the last few weeks with good reason. Can you comment on any improvement that you saw tonight? I think the line looked good when you rushed for over 400. You have 600 yards passing. The line play has got to be good. Got some new people out there. You had some guys bumped up. Campbell, that's the big kid from over in Ponchatoula. He had to get out there. I saw Dodd at center. So, hey, you give the offensive line a lot of credit, not just the starters, but the guys that had to jump in there and get some action. Don't know if Weathersby will be back next year, but I thought next week. I thought the offense played a little bit better defensively. You know, I don't have, well, I do have Missouri's numbers in front of me.
265 or thereabouts.
188 passing for Missouri, and rushing, they had 77 yards.
Yeah.
So I think the defensive line did its job. Beckwith was very active tonight. Secondary was very aggressive going to the ball. question again about the line. I thought both lines looked good, but I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's worthy of saying Missouri's not that good. But use it as a confidence builder. I'm sure there were mistakes when they study the tape. Learn from them, improve, try to eliminate those mistakes, and go forward.
Two things I think worth mentioning. Number one, we talked, TK, about the guys being so tired and getting them off the field. I think you could see that they were fresher. And here's the other thing. Just by formation, you had no idea what LSU was calling. They opened up in the shotgun with 4 wides. They had a bunch of 1 back. They had a bunch of 3 and 4 wides. They threw the ball on first down. What I'm trying to tell you is that when everybody in the ballpark knows where you're going, you really have to be good because, as we've seen with Brandon Harris at quarterback and to some semblance, sometime with Danny Etling, you're still going to see a lot of 8 in the box. But after they set them up with the pass and kind of tricked them a little bit on what they were going to call, then the offensive line did a great job. Hey, don't forget, Darius Geis also made a lot of people miss. Darrell Williams made a lot of people miss.
They ran
Great
hard.
to see Nick Brissett get in. I know the guys on the team are going to kid him on getting caught from behind. Defensive line, that to me is the best they played, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Tre'Davious White, Kevin Tolliver, and Dante Jackson all covered much better. I still worry a little bit about Ricky Jefferson as being a negative covering over the top as a safety. But I thought both those lines looked appreciably better. They were certainly fresher, but once again, you're not going to be able to judge a whole lot on the line of scrimmage from Missouri. Let's see how it works out. You got to figure the Florida game is going to be relatively low scoring.
Here's a text message that says, no excuse for the fans leaving early. What do we think about Fournette? How serious is his injuries? We'll have to let Coach Orgeron address that Monday. Obviously, they didn't dress him out. He wasn't good to go. Missouri is not that good. Neither is Mississippi State and Jacksonville State. But we did play better today than we played against those teams. Defense looked like an LSU defense. Again, another text message there. Let's go to Brian in Metairie. Brian, you're on the post-game show.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple questions. Number one is, well, on your opinion, what does Orgeron have to do to retain the head coaching job at LSU for the following year? And if that's not an option, what does, well, in each one of y'all's opinion, who do you think the next head coach will be?
Okay.
Herman, Fisher, another candidate? I'm curious to see what happens.
Okay. All right, Brian, thanks for the call, buddy. You can listen if on the phone on TV. TK, I think everybody wants to jump to conclusions. Me and you had this discussion on Wednesday, and I think that's part of what everybody likes to do, but it's too early to tell, to try and predict. I will tell you this. Ed Orgeron talked about it all week long. He's been waiting for this opportunity. He learned a lot at USC. Pete Jenkins is his mentor. Steve Ensminger did a pretty nice job calling plays. Where I'm getting to is let's look at it week by week. If you want Tom Herman, it doesn't look good because Texas got beat again.
They may fire Charlie Strong tomorrow.
Well, I think they're going to wait till the Red River shootout.
But they may do it tomorrow, what I read tonight.
Well, I know, but what I'm reading is that they're going to let him finish out the year. So Tom Herman doesn't want to leave Texas. We've gotten that from a bunch of people. I'd say right now Tom Herman has a better chance of being the next Texas coach as he does the LSU coach. Jimbo Fisher is still a guy that is possibly in play. Larry Fedora at Carolina is a guy. We've talked to people that know Gary Patterson at TCU is a guy. But look, anybody that tells you he's got to go 8-0 or 7-1 or 6-2, everybody's guessing. Let's see. I will tell you this. He looked like he knew what the hell he was doing tonight, and you know he's just going to get better. Once again, looking ahead, TK, you beat Florida, and then you beat Southern Miss. Let me tell you what, that's a tough ticket playing a good Ole Miss team. You go 4-0 out of the gate and have 2 weeks to get ready for Bama, everybody's putting the O up in the air. But look, we all know timing is always the key issue with hiring a coach. Is Jimbo going to be available? Does he want to leave Florida State? Can they get him? As we said, Herman, I still think that Herman's going to end up probably more in Texas than here, but you never can tell. Let's just let O and the team get on this ride, and it'll all work out.
Yeah, I think the decision will be obvious. Obviously, it's up to Joe Oliva, Director of Athletics, and the powers that be at LSU as to who the next coach is going to be. It could end up being obvious one way or the other. If Coach Orgeron goes 7-1, 6-2 with a win against Bama, obviously if he goes 8-0, the job's his because he'll be the SEC Coach of the Year. But now if they go 4-4 or 3-5, then he's not going to be the head coach, and then the question would be, does he remain with whoever may come in? And that's really getting ahead of ourselves there. A name I keep bringing up, and I get rebuffed a lot, I think Lane Kiffin should be a candidate. I think Lane Kiffin's going to leave Bama and go somewhere. A lot of people don't like him. He's a whiny baby, and he kind of left Tennessee in a hurry.
Got maturity problems.
Okay, but Ed Orgeron said he learned from where he was. Why can't Kiffin learn from where he was?
Reports out of Alabama, he's still mouthing off and being very immature. I would, in fact, Nick Saban's going to give him a bad reference. Everybody's giving him a bad reference. I don't think Lane Kiffin has matured like Ed Orgeron. Yes, offensively, play caller, but once again, when you're the head coach, that's 17 hats you got to wear.
John Gruden.
No.
No? Okay. I'm just throwing a name out there.
I mean, come on. He never loses a game on Monday night.
I'm just throwing it out there.
But, I mean, how many times have people said, I saw John Gruden at such and such place?
I'm just throwing it out there.
Fantasy.
Let's go to Ken in Baton Rouge. Ken, you're on the postgame show.
How you guys doing this evening?
Hey, Ken.
So we've been holding back on this all this time. This is what we've been missing out on. We've been playing to win by the skin of our teeth, and we could have been doing this all along.
Well, not with the previous coach, but with Coach Orgeron, it certainly looked like they had a plan and a method. And I did not see, and this was the most fun part about it for me, guys, I did not see confusion on the sidelines, Ken. And for people that have been watching LSU for the last 4 or 5 years, I know that was a welcome sight, Ken.
Oh, it's unreal. I'm just disappointed that we've been waiting all this time to see this with all the talent we have, and this is what we got.
But once again, Ken, be careful now because, Missouri is not a high standard to base anything on, right?
Exactly, but you got to give credit where credit's due, and Coach O did a good job of getting these guys heads in the game, and
sure.
Like you said, they had 5 penalties in the game, the whole game. They did a pretty good job, didn't make many mistakes. I think that I give them a B plus, A minus.
Yeah.
I think you got to go A because they won the game. And if you want to go A minus because there was a few little things here and there, I think Coach Orgeron would take that, and then they're going to try to get an A plus next week in Gainesville.
I think, Ken, this is the thing that people categorically was saying in the last couple of years. And look, you toast the recruiting classes every year at the Bash, and LSU comes in 2 or 3 or 5 or 7. But tonight, Ken, I think what you started to see is potentially what this talent can do when it's put in the right position to be successful. And that to me is the whole thing in a nutshell.
Well, I'm anxious to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks. I think that they will do some good things, and they will mature, they will improve. The team seemed like they had more pep in their step, so to speak.
They played inspired.
Absolutely.
And Ken, here's the other thing.
I
I think a lot of people join you in being excited to see what's going to happen next. We don't know, but after tonight, it has raised that level of excitement. Everybody was excited about tonight. I heard Ed Daniels on Buddy's show the other day. He couldn't wait till 6:30 on Saturday night. He couldn't wait to see what he was going to see. I heard him make that comment, and I think we were all like that. And now, Ken, as you just said, everybody can't wait till 11 o'clock next Saturday, and that necessarily hadn't been the thing in LSU football the last couple of years.
Hey, two complaints about tonight.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with the football team. One complaint. Why in the heck do you complain about these guys and the way they played over the past few years and leaving at halftime because they didn't play the way you want to? They're playing lights out tonight, and the stadium empties out at halftime. I don't get that. I don't understand. That's the first one. Number two, is I tried to listen to you guys on 910 on the way home, and I could not catch you. I got a decent radio in the car, but I just couldn't
You
get
got to get it on the smartphone, WUBR, the TuneIn app, all right?
Go to tunein.com and pull it up, WUBR 910 AM. You can catch it on the smartphone and without any static, Ken.
I'm going to try to, but again,
we have to power down
stay in the stadium.
Yeah, we have to power down when it gets dark on the AM side. So go to the tunein.com app.
Cool.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, we're going to talk about that crowd leaving, but we need to take a break because Brian Lazar is waiting. We're going to connect with Brian. That'll be our first of 2 reports from the stadium. A little bit later, Ronnie Rance, Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV. But up next, Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. He'll give us our first report from the stadium. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Krysan, Pelican Sports Post Game Show. 42-7, LSU wins. Stay with us. Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including OptiMap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
I work at Debbie's Bridal and she makes your dreams come true.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
We continue with the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. LSU wins 42-7. We take it over to Tiger Stadium. Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian, good evening. How are you?
Doing good tonight. How y'all doing?
Doing well. What did Coach Orgeron have to say after the game? You were there.
Well, you know, basically said big plays fuel emotion, and certainly LSU had plenty of those tonight. You know, the offense, he said, couldn't have done a better job. You know, praised the game calling of Steve Ensminger. everybody knows, LSU gained 634 yards. It's most ever against an SEC team. It ran for 418 yards. It's most it has rushed against an SEC team in 40 years. Danny Etling passed for a little bit more than 200. Two backs rushed for over 100, and the offense was very good. And look, remember the first series of the game, LSU came out 4 wide receivers and 4 wide receivers, not a tight end or a running back. It was 4 wide receivers. There was a completion on the first play and then 3 straight incompletions. But that certainly had an effect on Missouri, and the players and Ed said after the game, and he thought that opened it up. And on LSU's second series, they went mostly 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends and 2 receivers, and they scored and drove 84 yards and a touchdown. Half of that coming on Geis's first touchdown run. So just by showing the 4 wide receivers on the first series, it probably had an effect. And then, look, give credit to LSU's offensive line. They blocked as well tonight as they've done all season. Will Clapp missed most of the game, and Garrett Brumfield stepped in at left guard. But and then don't forget about the defense. I think the defense was just as dominant as the offense. But, look, Drew Lock is a good passer. And I thought this was the best LSU secondary has covered in a game in a long time. They were active. They broke on the ball. They played a lot of man-to-man. And like I said, the defensive backs were right on the wide receivers all night.
Brian, we're getting a lot of calls and text messages talking about the play at the line of scrimmage. Coach Orgeron was up front and adamant about cutting down some of the practice time and more in the meetings. So could you tell LSU was fresher, why they dominated the line of scrimmage, and how much did strategy have with their success tonight?
Well, you just have to wait and see. Ed said in his press conference that he thought the team looked fresher tonight than they had. And he talked about in the pregame, he thought that when they stretched before the game, they just looked fresher. And, we'll just have to see it as we go on. The players talked about everybody having more energy tonight. None of them said anything about being fresher. They just said that the tone had been set all week in practice about showing a lot of passion and emotion. They thought they carried off. And look, buddy, we talked all week that LSU needed to get off to a quick start. And after that first series, offensively, they were in a rhythm, and certainly the defense was fabulous throughout the game. So it was the LSU team tonight that probably people were expecting to see. And certainly now it'll be a tougher task next week when they go to Florida.
Brian, I got another question for you. We're getting a lot of calls and text messages, and I made a comment. Missouri's not that good of a team. I don't think they win more than 2 games in the SEC play, and that could be questionable if Vanderbilt or Kentucky can jump up a little bit when they play them guys. But with that being said, we saw the improvement by LSU on the line of scrimmage, the defensive backs that you pointed out. What is your take on the fact that I don't think Missouri's all that good? It's still a good night for LSU, but, I mean, where's Missouri in your eyes as far as an opponent goes?
Well, I think Missouri – I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between Missouri, Auburn, and Mississippi State.
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, look, Missouri's defense is probably comparable to Mississippi State's, not as good as Auburn. This is not the Missouri defense it's had the last 3 years. Now, Missouri's not a good running team. They can throw the football, and that's what LSU did a good job tonight. That's why I really – because I don't think LSU's pressure on Locke wasn't great. I just thought that the guys in the secondary really, really covered well tonight. So I think that we look going forward, the 2 things that stood out tonight were the way the offensive line blocked, and again, they're going to face a much better front next week against Florida, and then the way the secondary covered, and I think that was pretty encouraging. And look, they're playing Florida next week, who everybody knows, not really an offensive team, but they're very, very good defense. It's almost like what they're playing next week is a little better Auburn team. Auburn was, pretty good defensively, not very good on offense. That's what you're going to get with Florida next week. But Florida's defense is even stronger than Auburn's.
Brian, what did Coach O say about Darius Geis and Darrell Williams? When's the last time LSU had a couple guys go over 100 yards running?
Well, he didn't really talk about any players individually tonight in his post-game press conference. He just said that, look, he had seen those two guys play. He knew that they had plenty of talent. It was just a matter of time that when they got their chances that he thought that they would do it. It hadn't been that long. It hadn't even been a year ago, buddy. Last year against South Carolina, they had both Fournette and Geis went over 100, so it was not that long ago that LSU had 200-yard rushers in a game.
And what did you see at the stadium, the way Geis ran? Obviously, we know he's fast. He's got a lot of wiggle, made a lot of moves, put that foot in the ground and the cutting. Talk about now with what happened tonight. Did you get any tidbits about Leonard Fournette, how serious it is, and how do you get a guy like Geis, who needs his reps, the ball, along with taking care of Fournette, Darrell Williams, and the rest of the running back by committee?
Well, Ed was asked about Fournette tonight, and he said he wasn't ready, and that was it. He didn't go into any more detail about that. I can see that Leonard Fournette is not going to play again until he feels and the training staff feels that he's completely healthy. So I'm willing to say that he's going to have a week of practice before he plays. He's not going to be in a situation, well, I'm not going to practice this week, but I feel better on the weekend, so I'm going to play. I can see Fournette not playing again until he's able to practice, for a full week. And, look, Geis showed more quickness tonight. He looked like a better running back than what Fournette had shown this year. Now, everybody knows Fournette's hurt. Sure. And I think because of LSU's depth at running back, it's almost like, well, let's play these guys who are a little bit healthier. Darrell Williams hadn't had a chance to play at all this year. And, he got his chances tonight and, rushed for 130 yards.
Brian, any word on Clapp and the injury situation there?
No, nothing was said about that. I know it's either an arm or a shoulder.
Okay.
He hurt it in the first half, tried to come back in the second half, couldn't go. So I haven't heard anything about the severity of his injury.
Brian, tell everybody what's happening at TigerBait.com.
www.tigerbait.com. You'll have coverage of the game up on the site a little bit. Grades go up tomorrow, and then it's time to get ready for thinking about what happens next week in the Swamp.
What's your grade on this performance, Brian?
Ooh, it's as good as LSU has played against an SEC team in a while. The 35-point win was its largest in a conference game in 2 years. They beat Kentucky 41-3 2 seasons ago. So it was just a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. I don't think LSU really can play much better than it did tonight.
Brian, last question, and we're going to let you go. Your thoughts on many people leaving halftime, third quarter, get to the fourth quarter, and there's a lot of empty seats. Your thoughts on that? We're getting a lot of text messages on that.
Well, that's just obviously it's just how it's going to be. I mean,
okay.
I tweeted that out, and somebody tweeted back and said that's because the traffic is bad and people don't want to sit in traffic after the game. Well, I mean, I've sat in traffic leaving Auburn Stadium 2 hours after the game, and people stay around. So, look, it's just what's the case. If you look at it, the south end zone, it's probably the part of the stadium that stays the most crowded. But I can see the east sidelines from the press box, and the east sidelines weren't full anyway to start the game. But, by early in the third quarter, those people were leaving.
Brian, thank you so much. Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Talk again soon, Brian.
Talk to you this week,
guys,
Brian.
later.
I will take a break. Still to come, Ronnie Rant, Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV. Did you have something I cut you off?
I will guarantee you that if they take care of Florida in an ugly 23-13 game, win next week, and beat Southern Miss, then when Ole Miss comes in, I can guarantee you those people aren't going to be leaving in the third quarter, because that is going to be an incredible build-up. We know about Ole Miss, how they started. They're really good, and they're really good on offense. LSU, I think everybody's got to admit, this is the Dave Aranda defense that we thought we'd see. And if LSU can get better, I think the problem goes away when you play Ole Miss, not before then.
Can you think Coach O will steal Dan Mullen's line?
What's that?
Well, Dan Mullen, a couple of years ago, Mississippi State opened the season in Hattiesburg against Southern Miss, and he said they closed the season against Northern Miss.
Okay.
So LSU's got Southern Miss 1 week, and they got Northern Miss the next week.
And that's a DA comment from Dan Mullen.
Come on, well, that's a rivalry up there, bud, man.
You don't disrespect the opponent in today's world of social media.
Mississippi State, they do.
You don't need to give bulletin board material. Oh, by the way, Coach Ogeron, I like the fact that the guys got spicy, but you know, folks, just about talking about keeping you cool. Georgia had an incredible play, an incredible touchdown. Too much celebration.
That celebration penalty
cost them 15 yards on the kickoff.
That could have affected the game.
Cost them the game.
These guys got to realize that you can't do that stuff.
Got to stay cool on the football
That
field.
contributed to Georgia losing without question, and I hope Coach Smart wears them guys out over that, and I hope other teams learn from it as well.
Got to act like you've been there.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's take a break, come back. Ronnie Rance, he'll give us his report from the stadium. He will have talked to some players. All of that is still to come here on the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Krysan, stay with us.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
Don't let bugs bug you anymore. Call the bug man today.
And for termite protection, go green with Centricod. If it's good enough for Lady Liberty in the White House, then it's good enough for you. Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
Call 923-BUGS today.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff, have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation, because we know how to make you smile.
Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. LSU wins 42-7, 1-0 under Coach O. We head back to the stadium. Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV. Good evening, Ronnie. How are you?
Doing great, guys.
Hey, you talked to Danny Etling after the game. What did he have to say?
Well, he obviously congratulated, and talked highly of his new offensive coordinator, Steve Ensminger, and basically said he was impressed with, in a short week and with all the changes and how, he put together a good game plan. And obviously, you saw LSU run the ball out of the shotgun, probably more than they have ever. And ran a lot with 3 and 4 wides, and had how about this, over 600 yards of offense, the most offense in an SEC game ever at LSU. That's incredible. It's Steve Ensminger's first game as coordinator. He's been on the staff since 2010. Obviously, they should have listened to him before tonight.
Hey, he's a tough act to follow, too, against a good defense next week. You also spoke to DJ Shark. We've been knowing for years that this guy can run, and we've seen it now through 5 games, and again tonight. He can run. What did DJ have to say after the game?
Well, he just said he feels like he's getting more and more part of the offense each and every week, and he and Danny have a good chemistry. Obviously, the Alexander Senior High product is, really a strong third receiver, and as Malachi Dupree keeps dropping him, who knows? Maybe he'll be a strong number 2 receiver behind Doral. But Shark is an explosive guy. He's one of those guys that they're trying to get it to him, reverses, bubble screens, every kind of way. You don't need to throw it to him deep because he's got tremendous run after the catch.
Well, now I think it's obvious that Edlin likes throwing the ball to him. He tends to look that way a bunch.
Yeah, there's no question. And I think, with it's just like anything, those guys have worked together a little bit, right, with the second unit. And I think they developed a little chemistry and a little trust. And then as the other guys will drop, if they have any drops, you start to go back to the guys you feel comfortable with. There's no question that, running number 2 offense with Chark, they have a good flow.
Jumbo, what were people around you saying during the game when LSU came out in the shotgun with the 4 wides? And were you impressed that Coach Ogeron had told everybody they're going to pass to set up the run, and then they're going to run it down the throat? It kind of evolved that way. But what were the comments being made early on? LSU not having great field position, but yet a concerted effort to throw it early to get them out of the 8 in the box, and then of course they pounded them. Guys in the offensive line certainly had their best night of the year, but could you tell that they were fresher, and could you tell LSU had a different mindset on offense?
Look, everything felt different, buddy. I mean, the atmosphere in the stadium was enthusiastic, optimistic. I mean, everywhere you'd walk, you'd see people in the first half. They're going, "This looks fun. This feels fun. This is different. Why haven't we been doing this all along?" It had an energy and a feel to it. Obviously, Coach O, this is a dream job. He's made that comment, and he wants to keep it. And in order to do that, he's got to go 8-0. And I think his enthusiasm, which obviously has been infectious for his team, the way he's changed that practice schedule and done some different things, it's also been enthusiastic and energizing for the fans who were lethargic as well. And look, they get their first coon-ass coach ever in the history of the program. I mean, that's exciting.
Ronnie, I just got a text message says it's fun being a Tiger fan again. Exactly the point you were making about the atmosphere before the game, on campus, around the stadium, all that good stuff. Ronnie, you also spoke to Ethan Posick. He moved around on the line a little bit tonight. What were his comments after the game?
Well, Ethan Posick, he talked about how he played a little center, played a little guard. Look, let's just be honest. He struggled last week at Auburn. I mean, really, absolutely did not played his worst game as a Tiger last week at Auburn. And then this week around early in the game on that 4th and 1, he got beat, and that blew up the play. So he's got a little work to do. I talked to Todd McClure about him after the game. Of course, Todd played center for a long time in the NFL, and he's just right now he's getting beat leverage. Todd said he's getting beat on that first step, and there's just people just getting underneath him. When you're 6'5", 6'6", that's, you don't see a lot of those guys playing center in the NFL, probably for a reason. But he had to play some positions. And by the way, Clapp left the game, had a hurt shoulder, right shoulder, and I heard him say after the game to a couple of people that he thinks it's possibly has a torn labrum.
Ooh.
So the Clapp situation could be long term. It definitely looked like it's something that could really affect his status next week. He had his arm in a sling, and he said he injured it in the Wisconsin game, and it's just gotten worse since.
Hey, Ronnie, tell everybody about Sports Shorts Radio and Sports Shorts TV.
Sports Shorts Radio every Monday night, 6 to 8, right on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge, 104.5, 104.9. Myself, Buzzy Heidel, Joel Davis. Going to be very interesting and fun Monday night. And then Sports Shorts TV right here in Pelican, Mondays at 9, Tuesdays at 8. Each and every week, special guest, myself, Joel Davis, mixing it up.
There you go, Ronnie. Appreciate it very much. You going to be in Gainesville next week?
I will be there.
All right, we'll talk to you then.
Breakfast in Gainesville.
There you go. Don't go to Ocala now.
I won't.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
for those of you talking about this fans leaving, Ronnie made a good point before we aired up. People get out to the stadium. Some people go Friday night, but the bulk of the people get out there for this 6:30 game at 11, 12, 1 o'clock. The weather was beautiful. You start pounding some beers and some Bloody Marys and all of that, and it becomes a long day. And when that game gets to be in the second half and it's 8:15, 8:30, some people are just ready to move on. They want to go somewhere else or back out to the car and have another toddy or whatever they're doing.
Well, the last thing that he just told us, if Clapp is out, then you got to hope Toby Weathersby comes back at right tackle and you can put Maya Tahuma back inside at guard. This is not an area of strength this year with the offensive line, and they have been hit with an inordinate amount of injuries. So, look, Posick missed practice last week. He played tonight. Will Clapp is a hard-nosed guy, but that's a torn labrum. You're going to have to lean on, Andy Dodd to come in and play some center. Garrett Brumfield going to have to play some guard. Butte. That could leave them, once again, TK, a little short in that offensive line.
Here's a text message. Edlin needs to learn how to run out of bounds or to slide. He's taking too many hits.
You got it.
We'll take our final break, come back, and put a wrap on it. LSU 42, Missouri 7. Glenn and Abbeville, you'll be up right after this final break. Buddy Saji, Tommy Chrysan, Pelican Sports TV, WUBR on that TuneIn app on them computers. TuneIn.com. Just search WUBR. You got us. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 800-404-0966. 800-404-0966.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Segment of the post-game show. Abbeville, Glenn, good evening. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, fellas. Two things I did not see tonight, and that's because I was flipping back and forth between LSU and the Red Sox. I did not see the toss dive play. Thank God, hallelujah. And I did not see the quarterback at the line of scrimmage looking over at the sideline, waiting to see what play they're going to run, and the clock running down and having to call a timeout. Didn't see either one of those. Love the performance. Love you guys. Thank you.
Hey, Glenn, I'm going to echo what Glenn said.
They called it 5 times. They called it
They did,
about 5
but
times.
I'm talking about
not 27
they looked
times.
more organized. I don't know that they sweated a play clock at all.
Maybe a couple.
I mean, but they look more organized. Glenn made that point as far as, getting plays in and being ready to go and all that good stuff. I mean, that was definitely better than it has been. Coach O would probably be the first one to tell you we can get it better, and that's what he's going to say Monday is we did some good things and we got a lot that we got to work on, and they do. Okay, we talked about it. They didn't, when they hired Coach O, that magic wand didn't get weighed and fixed all the mistakes. Okay, so we'll see. The first of 8 auditions is in the books, and it's a good one. I think we need to be on that Will Clapp thing. If it's a torn labrum, he's not playing anymore this year, and that he hurt it against Wisconsin and never got any better. I credit him for getting out there and busting it and continuing to be out there with his teammates. But if he's gone, then they got to piecemeal it back together and put the best 5 guys out there.
Well, that's a shame that they don't have better depth on the O-line. We've been talking about that. And Weathersby.
Well, maybe they do. We're going to find out.
Donovan Campbell's going to probably have to grow up and play now.
We're going to find
a
out
lot more. But overall, I think that what you and I have gotten from the interaction with people is, first of all, it was fun to watch LSU play football again. It was fun to see organization. It was fun not to see a cluster. Special teams have still got a little work to do, but for the most part, Coach Ensminger did a great job. I think Coach Aranda, Coach Ogeron, and Pete Jenkins, that's one heck of a trio to get your defense ready. So you look at it, TK, you got a very winnable game next week. And as we said, you take care of business against Southern Miss. This team all of a sudden got a little bit of a 3-game winning streak and a little swagger. They still got a lot of work to do. Get better each week, tweak those things. But for the most part, for a first-time game with an interim coach that had 6 days to get this team ready, I think you got to end up with a grade A or an A-minus.
Quickly, some numbers. Danny Etling, 19 of 30 for 216 yards. No TDs, no interceptions. Darius Geis, 163 yards, average just under 10 yards a carry. Darrell Williams, 130 yards. Brissett, 73 yards. Receiving, you had 2 guys with 4 catches, Doral and Dupree. Shark had 3 catches, a bunch of them with 2 and 1.
Tight end's got a few more balls tonight again.
Yeah, well, no turnovers for LSU in the game. And let's see, we'll get some quick team stats here. LSU 634 yards total offense to 265 for Missouri. Penalties, both teams had 5, kind of a wash there. No turnovers for LSU. Here's one for you, buddy. Time of possession, LSU 42-plus minutes. Missouri 17. Your defense can look real good when you don't have to be out there but for 17 minutes.
Well, Steve Ensminger and the guys put out that they wanted to run it 70 plays or more. I would ballpark and say 75 or 77.
They rushed, let's see.
How many plays?
I'm going to tell you.
Bottom line is that it's so much more enjoyable to see LSU with the football.
They had defense, 30 first downs.
Yeah,
man.
18 first downs in the first half. That's the most they've had since 2001, I think they said. Look, it's hard to nitpick.
82 plays.
82 plays. That is so much more enjoyable than 50 and 56 is what LSU had the first 2 games. TK, it's a new day in Baton Rouge. Everybody should be fired up. Take baby steps. And once again, great job as always.
Next Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff Louisiana time in Gainesville against the Gators. We'll be here about 2:15, 2:30. You know the drill by now, year 10 of this program. Don't forget to find that TuneIn app, tunein.com, WUBR, or on the computers, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We're kicking that up a notch. Thank you for watching, calling, texting. On behalf of everybody at Pelican Broadcasting, including Buddy Sanji, I'm Tommy Christ, and once again, thank you for watching, listening, calling, and texting. Talk to you again soon. LSU 42, Missouri 7.